Hello everybody, it's LittleSatyr and welcome back to another video of mine. Today I'm going to be telling you guys the story of when I got scammed. This is the first and only time I've actually managed to get myself scammed out of real money, so hopefully it will remain that way and that I learned from my mistake and that this won't be repeated. This is something that took place quite a number of years ago as well, so I'm going to be having to tell you this to like the best of my ability. I'm not going to be able to access the majority of the notes that were sent back and forth, so I'm going to be rehashing the majority of it. I'm also not going to be disclosing who this person is, because despite the fact that they are a very well-known scammer in the furry fandom, which I will get to later on in the video, and there's plenty of call-outs about this person already, I don't want to be that person to put the name out there as well, because I don't like callouts. I just want to tell you the story. So even though this person has already been put on full blast, I'm not going to be taking part of that. Also, if you're interested in the picture you're seeing me drawing in the background, it's actually a gift for my boyfriend that I made of his Void Elf monk from World of Warcraft. Because I drew my own Void Elf, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I need one of those as well." So I was like, you know what, man, I got you covered. I'll do that. So if you're interested in getting one of these pictures for yourself, then I will leave my commission information down in the description. I could really use some extra money right now, so if you're interested in commissioning me, don't hesitate to message me. I will gladly work something out with you. So, yeah, now when that's out of the way, how about we get into the story? As I mentioned, this person is a well-known scammer in the furry community. So if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm a furry. This isn't something that I see as a big secret or anything like that. I'm quite open about that fact because it's just an interest of mine. I don't really give a fuck. But yeah, so this is what happened. I was really into furries back then. Like, I mean, I still really do like furries, and I do own a couple fursuits now, but back then I wasn't able to make them myself, and I was definitely not able to afford to buy one professionally made. So when this person, I'm going to be calling her S throughout this video, posted like a picture on DeviantArt of two pre-made tails she had made and said that she was selling them, I jumped on that so freaking fast. Because S was actually someone who I'd been following for quite a long while, and also someone who I had commissioned in the past. I have a total of 5 or 6 pictures from S that I have paid for, and that I do still love to this day, because despite this whole situation, I'm not going to be denying the fact that S is a really freaking good artist. She still is. It's just sad the way she's using it. But yeah, so I had commissioned her before. I saw no reason not to trust her. So I sent her a note, we talked about it for a little bit, and we worked something out that I was going to pay her $50 for the tail itself, and then also another $15 or $25 for shipping, as she lives in the US and I live in Sweden. So she told me that she would ship it out to me about the end of the week or something along those lines, which I agreed to, and then I sent her the money and the waiting game started. At the end of the week, I asked her if she had mailed it out. She told me she had not, because she couldn't get to the post office because she needed help from her mom to drive her or something like that. Which I completely understood, and she told me like, yeah, end of next week, I promise. So I waited, and then I realized that, hey, it's actually going to take a bit for it to actually get here once it's been shipped. So I waited like a couple weeks, maybe 3, before I messaged S again and asked her, hey, the tail hasn't arrived. Have you shipped it? And she once again told me that she had not, because something came up. Uh, this should have been a red flag already, but I didn't think that far back then, because this was still when I was quite new into this whole thing. So I didn't really think that far as to maybe, just maybe, it was something fishy about the fact that she would not ship me this tail. So I gave her another chance again. She told me, oh yeah, I'll send it out as soon as possible, I promise. It shouldn't be longer than a couple weeks before I can ship it out. I'm very sorry, but I will make sure it gets to you as soon as possible. Which again, I agreed to it, and I waited, and then I actually eventually forgot that I had even ordered this tail, because I just waited for that long. It wasn't until my mom actually pointed out and asked me, hey, did you ever get that thing you ordered? Because this was like a couple months or so later, and I was like, wait, no, I didn't. Maybe I should message S and ask about this. So I did that. I went to her DeviantArt page and I sent her a note and asked, "Hey, excuse me, but this tail, did you actually ship that out?" And she was like, yeah, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I had to clean out my notes. I don't have your address anymore. Could you please give it to me again?" Uh, had this happened today, I definitely would have questioned why S didn't just message me once she realized she didn't have my address anymore. I shouldn't have to come and ask her when she owes me a product that I have already paid for up front. But no, I didn't think that far back then, so I sent her my address again and told her that to please just send it to me as soon as possible. Um, that never happened, and just a month or so after that, her account was actually deactivated, and I just couldn't get a hold of her anymore. Her for Affinity account at that point was basically abandoned, and there was nowhere else where I could actually get a hold of her. So I eventually managed to find her new DeviantArt account, like a couple months again later. And at this time, I had basically had enough of this running around in circles. So I just told her, like, "Hey, excuse me, but this tail, I'm in a bit of a financial situation right now. So if you could just be so kind as refund it, that would make everything easier for both of us because you don't seem to be able to ship it to me, and I kind of need my money back." She said that she would be able to refund me, but not at that second because she did not have any money because of something that had happened. So I gave her my PayPal address and said, "Just send me the money whenever you can. That would be great." Uh, is anyone even surprised if I say that didn't happen? And after waiting for just another month, her account got mysteriously deactivated again, along with her for Affinity account. Nowhere to get a hold of her. She even put her YouTube on private at that point. So there was nowhere where I could actually get a hold of S. There was no way. Because I didn't know any other accounts she was using. I didn't know, like, anything other than the DeviantArt account she had at the time, the For Affinity account she had at the time, and her YouTube account. There was the three things where I knew I could contact her. All of those were gone. So at this point, I'm like, okay, that's great, fantastic. I'm just going to have to pretend that I trust that she's going to send that to me. It never arrived. So I actually, after a while, managed to stumble over her For Affinity account on accident. It turns out she had moved to another one quite a while ago. Like this was years later. And I actually found an article on, I think it was Encyclopedia Dramatica or something, where they had actually posted her for Affinity account. And I'm like, okay. I don't even remember how I found that article, but there it was. That account was still up and running, perfectly active. So, and this was like, again, it was years later. So I just sent her a note and basically explained to her that I am done with this situation at this point. Just basically being passive aggressive, but I still didn't want to be too rude about it. So I just kind of told her calmly, like, "Hey, I don't really give a shit anymore. Just whatever. This situation is seriously so frustrating, but I would definitely like some sort of explanation as to what is going on. I don't even care about the money anymore." No response. She left that note on read for 3 or so months. No response. Then a friend of mine actually came to me and said that she had commissioned S for a badge that hadn't arrived, and she had waited a number of months as well for that. So I actually was starting to think, like, yeah, S really isn't being genuine. I wouldn't trust her. So me being me, actually ended up sending a very passive aggressive note to S's like commission account, and I questioned her like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I said like, "Yeah, you might be scamming me, but you're not going to be scamming my friend. You need to give her a refund as she has asked for. Like, just do that. Don't ignore her. Just give her a refund or give her the product. Uh, she got back to me very fast. She was very upset with me and said something along the lines of, excuse me, but I'm not interested in listening to you talking down on me and criticizing my work ethic like this. I have improved so much with the way I work with people, and I don't think that it's fair of you to come here and attack me for something that doesn't even concern you. Also, I have no memory of even attempting to scam you, and I don't even know who you are. So, either your friend has to contact me personally about her commission, and we can get that resolved. As for you, I don't know what you're talking about. And I can't even remember seeing another note from you. So I explained to her again. I told my friend, like, yeah, just go contact S. She'll hopefully refund you. Which she did. She did refund my friend, luckily. But I explained to her again what was going on. I explained to her like about the tail, how I ordered that several years ago. It never arrived even though I paid for it, and that I would still definitely like a refund or the tail. Um and I even sent her a bunch like the screenshots of the notes I could still access, which were the ones from her new account on or the second DeviantArt account she had. That was the one I still had access to the notes for. So I print screened those and sent them to her, and I was like, yeah, this is what's going on. I don't have all of the old ones, but here's proof that interaction happened, and this was never followed up on. This was never resolved. And she was skeptical, quite a lot, actually. And said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'm pretty sure that either I sent that or it got lost or it just didn't happen, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be contacting me if you didn't receive it. So if you could just let's work something out because I don't have any money right now. So if you could just tell me either you can pick between one full body feral character drawing or three shibis because that's about the same value under my commission prices. You can pick either of those and I will see to you getting some compensation for that because I'm not able to pay you back and I'm pretty sure I don't have that tail anymore. So I agreed to that. I sent her the reference sheets for the three shibis I wanted. And then I went back and talked to my friend about it. And she instantly, like the second I told her, yeah, S promised me compensation art for the tail that I bought that I never received. My friend's reaction was like literally, do you seriously think you're going to be seeing that art? Do you really think S is going to keep her promise? And no, I did not. I didn't expect that to actually happen at all. It was just too good to be true. Because, like, I actually knew that there was no way in hell that someone who had been basically stringing me along and doing the runaround with me for several years would actually be willing to resolve the situation that easily. And I was right about that. I still have not seen that compensation art. S hasn't contacted me. She hasn't responded to my comment on her profile. She just doesn't seem to want to talk to me. And it turns out that a lot of people are having the same issue. Like my situation, I think this was like 4 years ago, maybe. Might have been, yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years ago since I spoke to her last. And I have still not seen that compensation, alright? And it's now that all of these other like call outs and videos and stuff like that has actually popped up all over the internet. There is so much stuff about her out there. And there was even a blog at one point. It's done now, or down is the word I'm looking for, not done. It's gone, it's down, it's you can't find that anymore. However, they actually calculated how much how much money she owes to people that have ordered things that she never followed up on. It's up over $10,000. And I wish I was making that up. It's way over $10,000. And that's not even counting all of it because my like tail I spent like $75 for is not in on that. I know there are other people who probably did not get their stuff into that calculation. So we might be looking at like 12 maybe. There's a lot of money she owes people. And she's still to this day taking commissions on Twitter and not following up on them. She's still active. People are still falling for this. People are still actually legit thinking that they're going to get what they pay for when they contact this artist. Because, again, her art is really freaking gorgeous. It is. It's like, no matter how you twist and turn it, the art looks really freaking good. And it's definitely worth the money if she was actually following up on it, which she's not. So, basically, even though I trusted this person, even though this is someone I looked up to for years before I even commissioned her the first time. Even though she was a role model of mine, even though I had successful transactions with her before, this one fell through. And she's by no means willing to actually discuss this with me and get it resolved. Which is really freaking frustrating. She has abandoned her for Affinity account at this point. The only time she comes on is to delete people or delete comments of her profile from dissatisfied customers or people that she has fucked over. Other than that, she's completely ghosted her for Affinity. She's only active on Twitter and she's barely responding to people there either. She keeps throwing out sob stories about how her life is terrible and all of that. And like I understand if life happens, like I get it. My life has been a clusterfuck the last few months. I understand that life does happen. I get it. But you should at least be able to contact people. At least people who you've owed shit for several years. Like this, the whole transaction, like this took part in like 2010 for me. This is a long time ago. A very freaking long time ago. This shouldn't happen. It's actually ridiculous to see that this is still going on and that artists are actually doing this. So, yeah. I also realized that I was promoting my own commissions in a video where I'm basically telling you guys you can't trust people in certain cases because they might just fuck you over. Very good business practice, very good selling point. Please commission me, but don't trust artists. That's great. That's, yeah, very good marketing technique. I am so proud of myself. So freaking proud of myself. No, but for real, not all artists are like this. Far from all. As I said, this is the only time I've actually been screwed over. And I have commissioned people a number of times. When I can afford to commission people, I will frickin' commission people. And I've gotten some absolutely gorgeous art pieces out of it. Like, absolutely beautiful stuff that I paid for. And I have no problems at all with the fact that I did pay for them. And everything is just. The, the majority of the people I have commissioned have been wonderful to work with. And yeah, not all artists will be like this. However, make sure that they keep in contact with you. Make sure that you get updates. And if they start refusing to do that, and if you are getting close to your time limit where you can actually get a refund if they end up scamming you, ask them to resend the payment or something like that. Don't agree to just letting that time run out. Also, don't send payment through friends and family because you can't force a chargeback on that if they fall through. That's just, yeah. Just be careful. Be mindful. And if you want to commission someone you don't know who they are, look if they actually do follow up with other people. and contact other people who have commissioned them and ask them how they were to work with, and if they like, yeah, just ask them. Just make sure that you don't just blindly trust people, because that's a pretty bad idea actually. But yeah. Again, I have never had to do that myself. I've never once actually looked up reviews before I've commissioned someone, but just be careful, be mindful. So, yeah. Basically, that was all I had to say. And again, like, don't let this completely destroy your trust in artists entirely. Like, be mindful, but don't just distrust everyone. Just, yeah. No, not everyone is going to be like that. It was just, it was just a bad situation, and there are artists that will screw you over eventually. Like, it's very hard to actually avoid it. You never know. But just be mindful. Just keep all of those things in mind. There are other people who have actually talked about how to avoid getting scammed, and I will like try to leave some of those videos and articles down in the description if I can find them again. If they're not there, then I couldn't find them. But I might like post them over time. Or add them to the description over time, I meant. But yeah, basically that was all I had to say about that. If you're interested in my art, my social media are linked down in the description. You can message me there if you're interested in commissions or if you just want to talk to me. Um, yeah, the best place to reach me if you want to talk to me would be DeviantArt. You can also DM me on Twitter, or yeah, my Twitter is my more personal thing where I blabber about shit, while my DeviantArt is just my art. So you can pick and choose where you want to follow me if you want to follow me. If you want to see more videos like this, you can click the subscribe button if you want to. That would be great. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video, and take care of yourselves and don't let artists fuck you over, basically. Yeah. Goodbye. Take care.